Hello and welcome. I'm Laurel Stewart, and here's what happened this week. Many in Taiwan paid their respects to Pope Francis this week after his death on Monday, aged 88. Rick Glowert reports from Taipei.
Here at the Roman Catholic Archdiocese in central Taipei, some of the country's 300,000 Catholics have been coming to pay their respects to Pope Francis. The death of the 88-year-old Argentinian pontiff has prompted an outpouring of devotion among his faithful worldwide, and Taiwan is no exception.
所以我很高兴也很难过，高兴的是他一定在天堂，难过的是我们失去一个这么好的所谓的领导 leaders。
因为是非常接近的一个人，很谦卑，然后过的一个淳朴的生活。 是变成我们基督徒的榜样。
我觉得教宗他人真的不错啊，很仁慈，而且就是说他常常会教导我们，就是要以爱来生活出一个基督徒的一个方式。
Though Catholics make up a small part of the population, the Vatican also plays an important role for Taiwan diplomatically. One of just 12 countries around the world with official diplomatic ties with Taiwan, and the only place in Europe to recognise Taiwan as a country. Taiwan is expected to send a high-level delegation to Pope Francis's funeral. In the past, Taiwan presidents have been to the Vatican for important occasions. Rare, high-profile trips for Taiwan leaders, often isolated on the world stage by China.
政府在第一时间对教宗过世表达致哀，并表达台湾人民、天主教会教友以及政府最深切的哀思。赖总统已在第一时间指示我国驻教廷大使馆转至总统宴殿，并宣布总统府与行政院降半旗2天，以表达我国政府与人民哀悼之意。
Change in leadership brings uncertainty to these important ties. China is known to put pressure on Taiwan's diplomatic allies to switch ties to Beijing. For the country's faithful, it's a time to come together to mourn and honour the memory of their revered spiritual leader. Joseph Wu and Rick Glowert in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
The economy minister says he's working to fulfill President Lai Ching-te's call to buy more American energy. That's as the country looks to avoid steep US tariffs, with Taiwan aiming to use these purchases to cut down on its trade surplus with the US. Joyce Zheng has more.
2 weeks into U.S. President Donald Trump's 90-day grace period, pausing steep tariffs, Taiwan's economy minister, J.W. Guo, says the country is still working out the best way to buy American natural gas, a deal that could help narrow its large trade surplus with the U.S. that Trump has criticized.
我们中油跟阿拉斯加是有签订这个叫做 memorandum 那这个实际上，我想它能够供应的时间，那么这个能够产出多少，那国内的需求大概有多少，这个都要经过在更详细的评估。
President Lai Ching-te has been doubling down on importing more U.S. natural gas and oil, which he says is a major issue in Taiwan's tariff negotiations with Washington. Lai is seeking to lower the U.S.'s so-called reciprocal tariff on most Taiwanese goods from 32% to 0%. Even before Trump's sweeping tariff announcement, Lai expressed interest in a $44 billion Alaskan natural gas pipeline, appearing with Alaskan Governor Mike Dunleavy at a recent business dinner in Taipei.
Alaska is the source of high-quality natural gas, and its relatively short distance from Taiwan facilitates transportation.
Without official diplomatic ties with the U.S. or a free trade agreement, Taiwan has limited tools for negotiations.
Our administration right now, at least they are genuinely want to talk with the Trump administration. So that's the reason why you see like when Trump holding the following up press conferences, Taiwan is no longer being mentioned anymore. Like if you ask me like the strategy works or not, I don't know, but I think at least this is a good start that to talk to each other.
The world economy has been reeling from Trump's tariff plans, the International Monetary Fund slashing its outlook, projecting global growth in 2025 will slow to 2.8% from 3.3% last year, the lowest rate since the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite that, the IMF has raised Taiwan's individual 2025 forecast, predicting its GDP will grow 2.9%, beating out others in the region like Japan, South Korea, and Singapore.
If you compare with the other emerging markets, inflation rate last year, Taiwan's inflation rate is actually smaller. So our central bank did a good job. Okay, secondly, it's the relative exchange rate between the US dollar and the new Taiwan dollar. It's relatively stable, because we could see from like the US dollar to the Japanese yen, US dollar to the British pound and euro, US dollar actually are weakening.
Despite a relatively stable domestic market, economists say the ultimate trade shock caused by Trump's still evolving economic policy is far from clear. Pressure still on Taiwan to strike a good deal with the U.S. before the 90 days are up. Howard Zhang, Joseph Wu, and Joyce Sun for TaiwanPlus.
On Wednesday, President Lai and members of Taiwan's international community gathered in prayer to remember victims of the Holocaust. Tiffany Wong was there.
Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te and representatives from Israel and Germany are remembering Holocaust victims at a memorial event in Taipei, held by the Taiwan Foundation for Democracy. This year's event falls on Yom HaShoah, or Holocaust Remembrance Day in Israel, and attendees are paying their respects to the 6 million Jewish people that were killed under Nazi rule. At the ceremony, the descendant of one Holocaust survivor shared her grandmother's story. Representatives from Taiwan, Israel, and Germany also lit candles to mark the occasion. Memorials like these meant to educate future generations about this tragic history.
These stories deserve to be remembered and told, and they serve us as a reminder that the lessons of the past are never truly behind us.
It was President Lai's first time attending the event, and he shared Taiwan's own human rights experience. The country saw one of the longest periods of martial law in history, known as the White Terror.
Many countries, including Taiwan, have enacted anti-massacre legislation and observe a Remembrance Day each year. Those occasions help us remember the victims, preserve historic memory, and most importantly, reinforce our resolve to fight against hatred and discrimination.
Each year, Taiwan and its Jewish community come together to remember the atrocities committed during the Holocaust and reflect on the continued struggle for human rights around the world. Kama Shi and Tiffany Wong in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
China is expanding efforts to infiltrate Taiwan's military, targeting lower-ranking personnel in a bid to increase the number of spies sending information to Beijing. That's according to Taiwan's defense minister, who briefed the legislature on China's growing infiltration efforts. Chris Gorin reports.
Chinese espionage efforts are spreading to more targets. That's according to new reports from Taiwan's defense and national security agencies outlining Chinese infiltration in Taiwan's military.
中共过往急欲吸收对象以高阶干部、情报及飞行战管等人员为先，我就近期侦破案件分析呢，其渗透对象采全面吸收模式，大肆接触国军基层官士兵，再逐步金钱利诱或胁迫，以国军公务资讯抵债。
The new reports come amid a growing number of espionage cases within the ranks. The most recent of these included members of the military police and Presidential Guard. 2024 saw the largest number of people prosecuted for Chinese espionage in recent years, many of whom were active or retired military personnel. Several recent cases involved the use of illegal loans to soldiers in financial trouble.
那接着就是可能他还不出来，就说啊，不然你协助我，他会假装说我是在做一个什么研究，让他降低他的戒心，那你就给我什么照片等等的话，那你帮我找这个资料。 所以你欠我的钱就可以减少。
But China's efforts to infiltrate sensitive targets hasn't been limited to Taiwan. The US military has also been dealing with recent cases of soldiers selling information to China. Even the UK's Prince Andrew has been linked to an alleged Chinese spy. The prince is said to have sent letters to Chinese President Xi Jinping himself. While Taiwan remains a special target for China, it may also have a certain unexpected advantage.
所以在台湾的案例，就是因为大致上是同样的文化、习惯跟语言，所以更容易就是被渗透。可是相对的，如果台湾的人提高警觉，也更容易发现。
The country has put in place some special countermeasures, including financial rewards for turning in suspected spies. And officials say they might be working. The Defense Ministry says nearly 90% of new espionage cases among the ranks are reported by other military personnel. So while the total number of cases may be increasing, so too may be Taiwan's ability to discover them. Patrick Chun, Jaime Ocon, and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Environmental officials are defending the killing of a Formosan black bear in eastern Taiwan. The bear had repeatedly attacked livestock and pets in an indigenous village in Hualien. A team sent to capture the animal shot it after it attacked a dog and turned on them. It was later put down because of its wounds. Formosan black bears are endemic to Taiwan. Although their numbers are on the rise, the species remains protected. The incident has prompted calls for better animal management. Taiwan's pavilion at Expo 2025 in Osaka is officially open. The country is using the event to highlight its digital innovation and cultural beauty. But it's not all about the pavilion, it's also about what people are wearing. Sandy Chi has more.
Meet the guides of Tech World. They're ready to take visitors on a journey through Taiwan's pavilion at Expo 2025 in Osaka, promising an experience of Taiwan's beauty and digital power. And if you look closely, even their uniforms can transport visitors to the heart of the island nation. The outfits, designed by Liao Jialing, known as the Queen of Uniforms in Taiwan, are the result of months of planning. The design is inspired by a unique Taiwanese tree, the Taiwania fir, the only tree in the world that includes Taiwan in its botanical name. It's hard for Taiwan to present itself on the world stage. Here at Expo 2025, like at many other international events, it doesn't have an official pavilion. Liao says she used the fir, which the country's indigenous Lukai people call the tree that touches the moon, as a symbol of Taiwan's cultural roots.
有一种树木叫做台湾杉，那我很希望借用这个台湾杉，能够让世界人看到。虽然我们台湾的政治处境，我们不能常常用台湾出名，可是我们可以用台湾杉来表现台湾的物种。
The uniforms are made of earth-toned, eco-friendly fabrics, featuring digitally printed, sketch-style illustrations.
我们也用了很多的环保的布料，像里头就有保特瓶回收，这是最基本的，还有牡蛎壳，所以这些都是台湾特有的布料。
From research and design to fabric selection and production, Liao says these uniforms are the most challenging pieces she's crafted in her 35-year career. Many of the details are made by hand, and she says the fabrics made it difficult to embroider.
我们也希望，因为借由这样子的工序，能够让虽然只是一个导览人员的制服，可是我希望让他们看到台湾的工艺。
Liao also took practicality into account, knowing the guides will have to wear the uniforms through different seasons and temperatures. The jacket has 50 hidden buttons, allowing guides to easily remove the sleeves if needed. Their uniforms are inspired by the look of an explorer ready to embark on a journey. It's meant to show Taiwan's resilience and pride, standing strong on the global stage despite all the challenges ahead. Henshu Pichizhuang and Sanichi in Osaka for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for joining us for Here's What Happened. Be sure to visit the TaiwanPlus website and follow our social media. Finally, let's end today with more shots from Osaka, where popular manga characters are being featured in Japan's World Expo Pavilion. I'm Laurel Stewart. Take care and have a great weekend.